Hi, this is David. It's been a long time since I've worked in 3D, but I'd like to get back to it. And what I've got here is I'm starting up a simple logo in the background here that you can watch. And the idea is I love old science fiction movies, old and usually bad movies from the 50s and 60s. Um, and I love to see the crappy special effects and the cheesy acting and the stupid science. Um, but it occurred to me, I've got the software at home to improve these things quite a bit. Um, so what I decided to do is take a look at some of the worst movies and some of the worst scenes in them, and just kind of replace them in as seamless a fashion as I can do at home. And that's something I can share with you. I can show you how to do it. It's not really tutorial work here, just kind of watching somebody work at their craft. It might be enjoyable. Um, right here you see some of my work right in Lightwave Layout, setting up a very simple logo, kind of like the sci-fi logo when it first came out. Right now I've got a cat on my lap interfering with me, but I've got a single soft light, uh, and I'm angling it so it will be nice and bright. And I need a nice soft shadow to reveal the contours of the text, which is white, same as the background. Here I am adding in a bevel to the text so that you get maybe a little softened edge here and there. It just makes things look more realistic than the super hard 3D edge. Okay, I'm taking a look at it in my scene and thinking what else I might be able to do here. And something occurs to me: if I improve the lighting a little bit, if I add warm light from one side and cool light from the opposite side, uh, it kind of will only really color the shadows essentially, but it might improve the look a little bit. I'm not entirely happy with how it turned out, but let's see how it goes. Let's see. Working on the materials a little bit. A lot of tweaking and trying over and over again in layout when you're animating and surfacing and lighting and so on. And it's a lot of fun. Well, here's the final rendered logo. I'll improve this in the future, but it was a good first start. And on to our movie. Tor Johnson and Vampira. Well, those are two big problems already. This is a famous movie, famous for being one of the worst movies ever made. Plan 9 from Outer Space. Uh, I'll take this a scene at a time, not necessarily from the very beginning. Dudley Manlove. And I'll start with a particularly terrible scene, and please enjoy watching this, and let's get started.
15 to 4. Yep, right on schedule. There's the old San Fernando Valley out there now.
You better radio in for landing instructions, Danny.
Right, Jeff. Burbank Tower, this is American Flight 812. Over. Wouldn't surprise me any if he's asleep this time of the morning.
American Flight 812, this is Burbank Tower. If I were asleep, you'd never get on the ground. In your case, maybe I ought to leave you up there for good. Over.
You got me that time, Mac. This is American Flight 812 requesting...
Burbank Tower to American Flight 812. Over. Burbank Tower to American Flight 812. Over.
Holy mackerel.
Burbank Tower to American Flight 812. Are you in trouble?
Trouble?
Take a look for yourself.
What in the world?
That's nothing from this world.
Burbank Tower to American Flight 812. Are you in trouble? Are you...
Wow, where to begin? There's a lot of problems with that. The scene itself is awful. The set design, the props, the acting, all really terrible. But the special effects is what I can work on, and I think the first thing I can do is I can get rid of the visible string. This thing here, and I'm sure it's supposed to look unearthly and awe-inspiring, and it looks like it's 12 inches across in front of a picture of the sky, made out of tin foil or pie plates or something like that. So that's something we can improve. Also, the point of view, I like this old bit of stock footage they used. Looks like a C-54. If we try to do an interior view out one of these windows, it looks like that might work for us. Might make the scene a little bit more interesting, and add some relative motion to it. I know the characters in the scene are pretty much looking straight to the left, their left, the whole time, and it doesn't seem to move relative to them. But we can add some relative ups and downs as though turbulence were affecting the two vehicles separately, individually. Yeah, the set, the curtain, the control wheels. I like that. This guy almost drops it a couple times. Looks like he's terrified of dropping it. This looks like an old flight computer. Probably can do quite a few calculations on this. You wouldn't hang it on the wall. But anyway, let's go over to Modeler. And I've just started very simply with a couple of shapes that I intend to be the window, the two windows. This one might be a little bit more rhomboid. They're certainly not on the same plane, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. So let me start with a shape of the fuselage, and maybe add some more sides in. Not 36. And let's see, which way is that plane going? The other way. Okay, back out, extend it out here, add in a few segments. Oh, taper it up. Let's see. Trying to reach the center here. Okay, here we go. Undo. I want to make this a little bit more bulbous. Okay, that's the right idea. These two numbers in the lower left, I'm trying to get them the same. A little tricky. 219. Close enough. Okay, I'm going to reverse this in the top view. Bam. Center it up. And what I'm really looking for is just the approximate right shape on the outside of a cylindrical airplane. There's some weirdness going on here where above this cylinder shape it kind of flattens out. Let's take a look at that. And just kind of flatten it. Undo. Symmetry on. Something like that. Okay. Get rid of that polygon. We don't need that. Get rid of that. I'm just looking for an interior space. I'm going to flip this around so we see the interior of it. The windows, are they in the right place? Move them up here a little bit. I'm going to smooth this out and add some more detail. And then I'm going to use those shapes to slice across the x-axis. Bam. Let's see if that worked. That didn't work. I hate that. Oh yes, this is still in subpatch mode. Yeah, I need to undo that. Tab. And we will try this again. Slice in the X. Okay. Undo. I will try that one more time. And what I will do is I will go with a new material. Call it Windows. Now I can select those. Let me get rid of all the parts of the model I don't need right now. Don't need you. Sorry. Don't need you. Okay. Yeah, I can deal with the rest of it. Change the default surface, call that wall. And switch over here. Now what I want to do is create the windowsills. And I will use a nifty tool called Multi-Shift for this. And let's see, I'm going inward. Oh, not individually. No, that looks cool, but I'm not going to do that. Multi-Shift again, and I will group by polygon. Here we go. Come to think of it, I might want to flip this whole thing inside out before I do it. So I'm actually looking at the inside of the window. Okay, here we go, multi-shift again. Okay, they come in a bit. They do that a little bit. They do that a little bit. And how is that going to work? I might need to do a little correction here. Yeah, that simplifies things. Now if I take the window material and just reveal that, I might be able to get rid of the rest of it, or turn those center polygons into glass. Let's see if I want to do that. Yeah, I think I want to do that. Simplest way, let's do this one window at a time. I'll call it glass. This one might be a little trickier, but we'll see. Glass, hide that. I missed a couple. Okay. So I've got my surfaces appropriately named. Let me make sure there are no non-planar. Oh, there are quite a few, aren't there? I'm going to try a little experiment. There's a feature in 3D software called subpatches. So, you know, you're probably well aware of how 3D objects are created from polygons, triangles, and squares, and so on. And let's get a better look at that. And obviously, you know, using this technology is not going to get you great looking character models and monsters and organic shapes like that. And generally how these things are done is somebody starts with the basic shapes just like this, and what they do is they apply a technique called subpatches, which is kind of averaging the position of all these vertexes and creating more in between. And in Lightwave you can achieve that effect with the tab key. Boom. Okay, so now we have a very rounded, very smoothed out version of what I had before. But it enables me to, in the software rendering, really add in tons more geometry, so even in close-ups this will look very smooth and maintain this shape. Modeling with this technology is a little tricky, kind of predicting where things are going to go and what's going to happen when you make changes. But it's a very valuable technique, very valuable technology, because you can save a ton of space making these models out of very few polygons and ending up with a great deal of resolution. Alright, so lesson ended, and here's a demonstration of what I really want to do. I want to apply subdivision to this and see what the result is. You know, as I said, you don't always know what's going to happen. I'm worried that the corners of these windows are really going to get rounded too much, but let's see. Tab. Alright, I've got a number of polygons that are not 3 or 4 sided, and I'll just kind of automatically triple those. Try it again. That's not horrible. That's workable. It's kind of ugly here and there. Let's see if I can straighten this out with a few tugs. Okay, that looks a little bit better. This is horrible up here. Actually, where is the problem? Yeah. Alright. Might be able to merge some of these triangles into quads together, and that smooths things out a little bit. At render time, things are going to look better than this. We haven't seen the best of it. Well, that's ugly. Let's see. Perhaps that's something else we can fix with a little merging. No, no, that didn't look good. Let's see. Gotta turn my wires back on. You know, this isn't going to be the focus of the scene. In any case, you'll be looking at what's through the windows. But still, something ugly could catch your attention. That's not cool. Yeah, this might be good enough. That's a triangle, and those are quads, so I can't merge those. That's 3 triangles. Let's see. Whoops, undo. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'm going to go with this. I'm going to call this done. I've got 3 materials here. I've got windows with some... Actually, it's a bit wavy. Windows wouldn't look like that. Let's see if I can flatten these out. What I actually want to do is grab all the windows. No, the glass. Deselect these because they look decent. Oh, I just did the opposite. Glass. Deselect these. And what I want is to arrange these so they're relatively flat, and then I make them flat. How ugly is this? It's not horrible. It's not great. It's not very realistic. See if I can grab this ring and pretty much do the same thing. So the material I have called windows is really more of maybe black rubber or fabric that they'd use to make a window frame in a cockpit. The rest of it's just going to be plain wall, which I might make look like you know, that diamond pattern sewn into a cushiony material. That was pretty common in airliners of the age. Or I might go simpler than that. We'll see. And there's one other thing before I move on that I should do, and that is to make sure I've got, let me delete this experiment here. I want to make sure I've got the scale approximately right, so I'm going to call that, let's see, I'm going to call that about 2.5 feet high, just the ballpark. So I make a box, and in the numeric attributes I will say 2.25 feet. Okay, so that's the height that, wow, I made this thing really huge. Alright, I'm going to rest that there and switch over, And shrink this down until the windows are about, I guess, a bit bigger. Okay, something like that. Center it, and let's see. I want to set up my scene so that I am looking from inside out. So looking out this window from this direction, and this is the top view. Okay, I can get rid of this measuring thing. And what is this? All my two initial windows, get rid of them. And let me go in and make a saucer. So a saucer I want to make, just as a reference. Oh, let's see. Make it big. It's kind of imposing. So 50 feet by, I don't need height, 50 feet. And let's see, center it and take a look. Okay, that's just my guide for how big my saucer is going to be. So, and the most old school and quickest way to do this is to lay out a cross section. I'm going to put a lot of points into this at first. I'm putting points close to each other when I want the curves to be relatively sharp. Users of Illustrator will understand this. Okay, a couple more, and then maybe a bulbous thing at the top. And make a polygon out of that. How's that look? That's a little silly, but I guess the source material is kind of silly too. Alright, let's see what that looks like. I'm going to lay this around in a circle, and hey, not too bad. Undo. I need some more points in here. There's this multiply, add points. Okay. I'm going to add some more points in because I have an idea of what to do. So in the movie, you first see a flash of light in the cockpit of the airliner. Does this look right? Yeah, that looks right. And the flash of light, of course, came from the flying saucer, and now I should add a visible source of light to the machine. And I'm going to do that by adding quick windows in. Okay, I like this. I like this. So my windows, should they come from these? Maybe gaps in here? Or I can zoom in here and I can make these, multiple small windows. I think maybe the outer rim looks more flying saucer-ish. Select all of them at once. And why is this crooked? Okay. And a couple of bevel operations. And one more to make them deep. And let's see. Now I'm going to undo that last step. I'll leave it like this. Okay. Subpatch mode. This looks a little silly. Whoops, undo. I want this more rounded. Is that a double set? Yeah, it kind of is. Alright, let's see. No, I don't actually know why this looks like this. That edge shouldn't be so hard. I'm going to cut across here and make another set of points. And then I'll stretch those points out. That's a little better. Alright, call the whole thing silver. Make it low diffuse, high specular. Ooh, shiny. So the lights are going to be coming out of these holes. I'm going to need to make these polygons double-sided. That way when you see inside here, you want to see darkness unless you're actually looking at the source of the light. Okay. I think I like that. Now, how does that compare to the size of the cockpit we're going to be working in? Here's the cockpit window. And then there's the spaceship in the background. Okay, yeah, I wanted something big and imposing, and that will kind of do it. I'm not going to do landing legs in this section. It's not necessary. Cut this out of here, paste it. I like to name my layers so I know what I'm doing in layout. This is a saucer. And this is a cock. How do you spell cockpit? Pit. Okay. Do I want to do anything else here? Not really. It's not great, but I'm going to be, you know, so focused in on this area here that the rest of it's really not going to matter that much. All right. Okay. Let's send this over to layout. Here's my spaceship. I'm going to move my spaceship somewhere else. That's my cockpit. Where's my spaceship? There's my spaceship. Up. And I'm going to leave it right there for now, even though I have a big thing planned. I'll have to review the scene again to see how long my scene should be. Right now, I've got 10 seconds. 300 frames will work out to 10 seconds. 10 seconds ought to be enough. I might want to cut it down. But I'm going to want to show my fabulous, beautiful spaceship not hanging from a string and look at it through my window. And we will do that in my next clip. So I will see you then.